So this one right here, this may be my most special raindrop I have to give you. It will help change your life if you're brave enough to try. I guarantee you this. It's all my pleasure.
So we've been working on your album, and I've had a chance to listen to some of the tracks, and the theme that I'm getting most is you are truly the bridge between hopelessness and hope. So what is it about you, Boyd, that connects to other people?
My demographic's pretty interesting. My father's side, we're Louisiana Creole.
Okay.
So from Baton Rouge, and father's side grew up in California, but in Baton Rouge. So we're a product of the ugly part of America's history,
right,
of rape and slavery. And then my mother's side, her parents were Holocaust survivors. So I have a compassionate DNA, I suppose, due to extreme suffering on both sides. I experience thoughts people have that I don't even meet, that I'm just aware that they're thinking by reading.
Right.
And being fortunate to be the right complexion that's privileged on this planet. And I get to say that because I live it, because my cousins are your complexion, and I get to see how I'm treated a certain way,
right,
and they may not. My father's siblings range from my complexion to your complexion. He just happened to get the gene to make him lighter.
Right.
But the whole life's different based off of that. And being in a sport like boxing, that's a man sport, but being Jewish, but I get the pass because I'm in a man sport, deemed man by society. And then for whatever reason, at 20 years old, falling in love with a girl who's quadriplegic. I don't understand what it was at that time. That when I just don't know. It was the alignment. It was the necessary shift in my path of sensitivity. And my mother used to say to me, shortly after Chris and I were together, it doesn't surprise me that you fell in love with someone dealing with something like that, because I still remember the 5-year-old boy that couldn't see people who were homeless because it hurt him.
Right.
So I don't know why I was created like this, but I know it still hurts.
Yes.
And I hate how it hurts.
Right. That's a special gift, and you definitely have it, because when I listen to your words, I don't just hear it, I feel it. And that's that bridge that I'm talking about between hopelessness and hope. It's such a special gift.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you know my boxing nickname is the Rainmaker. The Rainmaker's called upon when there's drought and when there's hunger and there's famine, and you treat everybody the same. You stop the tribes from arguing and yelling with each other. When you're around, they calm down. You cool things down. The Rainmaker cools things down. The Rainmaker brings hope. So he says that in there. And Kristen, that was my ex-girlfriend who was paralyzed. We watched that movie. I showed her that movie, and I remember she looked at me and she said, "You're the Rainmaker," when we were together.
Wow.
And so when I decided to box pro, I said, that's what I have for spinal people. Just hope, especially it started for people who were paralyzed, but now it's just overall. And I love making people smile, so I can be super silly and make them smile.
Right. And so that brings me to thinking about cycles. And you have a track that speaks specifically to cycles. And I'm hearing that this has been creating, in the process of being created, since you were a small child. So what is it about cycles, like for a person, let's just say like myself, who's really struggling, dealing with a lot of pain? You may not see it, but it's there. How do I even have the mindset to think about cycles or creating patterns? Where do I begin? Where does one begin? How does one inspire themselves?
it's saying out loud what you want. What life do you want?
Right.
And not being afraid if maybe you don't like the answers.
That's right.
Because sometimes it maybe take a lot more work than you think, and you're feeling lazy.
That's
We
right.
all feel lazy.
That's right.
And we compromise because it's almost like a fight or flight thing where I know it's gonna take, I don't need it that much. Maybe I'll just be okay with just this. Because we know what that work's gonna tell. We don't want to lie to ourselves. Who wants to lie to ourselves? Say it out loud and see what it here sounds like. Do you really want that?
That's right.
And, yeah, I think
love
the choice is,
that.
and that's where you start.
I love
What
that.
do you want? What do you want?
Right.
It's like in the movie The Notebook when Ryan Gosling's looking at Rachel McAdams like, what do you want?
Right.
What do you? She's like, no, you don't
Right.
understand. No,
Exactly.
what do you want?
Exactly. So it's like that. You have that freedom to make the choice, but you have to accept what's given to you. Do you want that or do you not want it? And that's the choice.
You're right.
Is that fair enough?
It sure is. It sure is.
All right. Well, I look forward to listening to the rest of your album. I am already so inspired by what I've heard, and I'm so proud of you, because just touching one life makes a difference, and that will be the answer that little 5-year-old boy is looking for. So thank you for what you do.
Every time you meet somebody, walk by somebody, interact for a heartbeat with somebody, you can give them a feeling.